G'day Guardians, it's Matt here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to get your hands on the best armor in the game right now. This is by far the fastest, the easiest, and the most efficient way to farm armor pieces, and you'll also be able to target farm certain stats if you're planning to make some builds for yourself. The farm is going to be the Nightmare of Kaitor boss encounter in the new Duality dungeon, but on Master difficulty. The boss checkpoint always awards 2 pieces of loot, and on Master difficulty, the drop rate is really low for weapons, meaning you'll normally get 2 pieces of armor. The armor from Master difficulty isn't just regular high statted armor though. It is generally pointy in 1 or 2 stats, but it's also artifice armor, which is the best sort of armor that you can possibly get in the game right now. It gives an extra mod slot for any of the seasonal artifact mods, meaning that you can take advantage of something like triple shotgun dexterity like I am here. The farm is so good that it's allowed me to delete all of my old high-statted armor that I've accrued over this past year from things like trials, raids, Iron Banner, and the older dungeons as well. So today, I'm going to teach you the method and the loadouts on how to farm this in not only 1 damage phase, but in 2 bells, meaning you should be walking away with 2 pieces of high-statted artifice armor in around 3 to 4 minutes. Just make sure you or one of your Fireteam members keeps the boss checkpoint on one of their other characters so that you don't use it every time that you run through this. Like any high-statted armor farm, make sure you equip your ghost mod on so that you can guarantee yourself a pointy amount of stats in whatever you desire. There's also a hidden trick that a lot of people don't seem to know with armor pieces. Your total stat points are usually split in half. It's not always a clean 50-50, but half of them are usually distributed in mobility, resilience, and recovery, the top 3 here, and the other half of the stats are in discipline, intellect, and strength. For me, I know that I want resilience on my armor pieces for my Titan, and I don't necessarily want any on mobility. For recovery, I don't care too much, I could take it or leave it. So I can do 2 things here. I can put the resilience mod on my Ghost, which would guarantee me pointy resilience armor, and that'd be great, and I'd be happy with that. But it does mean that on the other side of my armor, I'll probably get a pointy stat in either discipline, intellect, or strength. I know this season I don't care for intellect or strength on my builds, only discipline. So the other option I can do is put the discipline mod on my Ghost, and then I hope that my other pointy stat is resilience or recovery, since I'd happily take either. So now we've got ourselves prepped and ready to go, let's discuss the Fireteam Loadout to make this farm as efficient as possible. It's a team effort, but luckily it's doable on all 3 characters. What I'm about to recommend worked really good for us, but that doesn't mean something different isn't better. Just run whatever works for you guys. I know plenty of different strats to make this encounter a 2 bell on Master, but we're comfortable with this setup and hopefully it works for you too. All 3 of our loadouts will have dim links in the description so that you can see the mods that we use. I was running Titan with Lowly Splendor with Tractor Cannon for the Kaitor debuff, but also to clear the Void Shields off the Bellkeepers, as well as Double Slugs for DPS. Being on Solar, I was able to provide the team with the Radiant damage buff by throwing my hammer before damage. Steve and Roguey were both using Witherhordes, a Void SMG, and a Clown Cartridge firing line Storm Chaser, with Steve running a Lunafaction well for those faster reloads, and Roguey on Omnioculus Hunter to stealth us each time we needed to deposit the standards. In terms of the method, it's handy to assign roles. 2 people to collect standards while 1 person clears the Bellkeepers. Off the bat, I'd try and build up my Roaring Flame stacks with my hammer, but clearing adds isn't really a priority. You just want to identify your 2 standards that you need and get the Bellkeeper person to shoot the bell as soon as possible. The 2 standard runners should ideally be in position when the bell is rung. Just like regular difficulty, clear the Bellkeepers in the Nightmare realm and just come back. You absolutely don't need to worry about those anti-barrier colossus at the front and back. I usually forget they're there. When you re-enter, have the Stealth Hunter make the 2 runners invisible so that they can dunk the standards in peace, and just repeat this 1 more time, and then you're at damage phase. When it's damage phase, have 1 person on the left, 1 person in the middle, and 1 on the right to ideally kill their 2 Bellkeepers. Sometimes RNG will get in the way and it won't be in your favor, but just dealing a little bit of damage to them is handy because if you don't kill them, you can always come back and finish them off when you're traveling to each bell. The person watching the middle was always me, and I'd be the person to call out which side Kaitor would be walking. Whichever lane she chooses to go down, it's then that person's job to run at her to activate her stomp mechanic, which will then allow the other 2 players enough time to get to the bell to deal damage. At this point, it's just business as usual. I'm the bonk player, so you're stuck with my perspective, but the other 2 guys are just ripping into her head while I'm tractor canning for the debuff, I'm throwing my hammer for the damage buff, and then I'm just double slugging her back. I just find it easier to shoot her on her back crit spot. I know that you can crit her head for slightly more damage, but it's just personal preference. With a bit of practice and coordination, it should be a comfortable 2 bell inside of one very comfortable damage phase. But that's all from me, guys. Happy farming, Guardians.
From his rise, to his fall, to whatever it is